And there should be something down there that says invite.
We're gonna give people like 2 or 3 minutes, and then we're
There
gonna
you go.
start.
To everybody. Just click on people. Hey guys, just 2 seconds and we'll be getting started. Hey guys, welcome back to another entry for my Jackie's Journal. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's just me by myself today, no guests and no executive producer. Don't worry, he's being docked. I want to thank you guys for watching again every week. I appreciate the comments and the inboxes. It's been a very, very, very overwhelming, but I appreciate all the feedback. So today's topic is, okay, so before I tell you what today's topic is, let me get this. So I've been told by my son, and I've been asked by a few friends, what is your purpose of doing the vlogs? I think initially when we first started the vlogs, I said that, I was writing a book and this was going to help me, you know, with my ideas and my thoughts that come directly from my journal of experiences that I've had. And also, I'm not a great communicator. If you ask my family, they'll tell you I'm not a great communicator. So they were a little shocked that I decided to start communicating in this format. So to answer that question while I'm doing this, I really don't know. It just came to me one day that this is something that I wanted to do, which leads me into today's topic. So today's topic is finding yourself as I was going to say as a single parent, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a single parent. It can be a parent. It doesn't have to be a mother. It can be a father. It can be a mother and father. After you've raised your children, what's next? What happens after that? Me being a parent, I've been a parent most of my life. Like I've said before, I became a parent when I was 17 because of my own upbringing and the way my mom was with me. As far as when I decided to have a child at 17, she was like, okay, we're going to have this child at 17, then you're going to be a parent. So she was very instrumental in making me the type of parent that I am because she didn't play no games. So 17 to now, 53, I've been a parent. My children are 30, 36, 27, and 21. Now that they're all grown up, finding their own paths, where does that lead me? What am I going to do? That's the question that I ask myself in my journal. Like, I don't know. All I've known is being a mother, raising kids, being there for them, helping them along the way, and becoming who they are. So what happens? So I'm posing this as a question, not only as a topic, because I'm still trying to find my identity. I remember, it's funny that when I start doing these topics, and when I start going through my journal and I start thinking about stuff from the past, I remember many years ago, before even moving to Maryland, someone asked me, what do you think God's purpose is for you? And my answer at that time was to be a mother. Why? Because that time I had 4 kids, and that's what I figured. That's my purpose. I have 4 kids. The God's purpose was for me to have these 4 kids. And she said, "Do you think that that's your only purpose?" And my answer was yes. I don't know. I don't know anything else. That's all I know. So now my struggle is trying to figure out. Okay, they are grown now. They don't need me as much as they did before. I don't have to take them to practices and whatever. I don't have to do that. I don't have to take them to school. I don't have to cook for them if I don't feel like it, but I still do. So where does that leave me now? So that's my struggle. The other day, recently, this is like a few aspects to this trying to find myself thing. So the other day there was a post saying something to the effect of, who eats first in your household? Who do you feed first in your household? The husband or the children? And it was a long debate. People saying, well, the husband should eat first, and some people felt the kids should eat first. And when I talked to my sons about it, they also felt that the husband should eat first because he's the provider, he's the head of the household. But for me, I don't feel that way. I've always felt that it should be the kids. The kids should eat first. And I guess my thought process is, as a single parent, it was, well, I'm going to feed them because if we run out of food, I can have a sandwich. I'll be good. As long as my kids have food, then I'm fine. So I still feel that way. If my husband's here, we're going to serve the kids and then we're going to eat. It doesn't matter. If he cooks, it's the same way. The kid's going to eat first and then we'll eat. We'll have our dinner. He'll serve us after the kids are served. So in my struggle, feel free to ask questions. You can ask for questions during the live because I'll respond to them because I have another assistant that's going to read the questions to me. So I'm struggling with finding me. And I get a lot of things from my friends saying, well, you should try to do different things or do stuff on your own by yourself. What are some things to do by yourself? Like go to a restaurant, go to a movie. Like I can't even imagine doing that alone. Like I'm always like, oh, who wants to come with me? Or if I want to go to the mall, I'll ask my daughter, come with me to the mall. And then if she says no, if they say they don't want to do something with me, then I end up always I'm just going to stay home. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to stay in the house. Which makes them upset because, well, at least with one of my sons, he tends to feel guilty if I'm home and he's going to do something and I'm just home in the house. But that's all I know. I don't know what else. So this process of me doing these vlogs is kind of helping me. She said, bring them on camera. I was reading something else. I'm sorry. So it's kind of helping me trying to define who I am, figure out who Jackie is, other than the twins' mom, or Ari's mom, or Andy's mom, or JR's mom, or Jackie's mom, or whoever. Who is Jackie? And right now, I don't necessarily have an answer to that question. So that's my struggle. So if you have any idea of how, not for me, but if you're going through like the same struggles, because I know I have friends that have children that are all grown up, and then it's the same situation. It's the same struggle trying to figure out who you are, or what are you gonna do? What the next phase of your life is after you've had your kids are all grown. Okay, now what? What's the next step? What's the next thing that's gonna happen? So that's what today's topic is. So what I've decided to do, what I've been finding myself doing, is trying to find things that I'm interested in and kind of like motivate myself to doing different things. And I think that my biggest struggle is motivating myself because I put it in my head, this is what I'm going to do. And then when it comes down time to do it, I'm like, no, I'll change my mind. Or I'll doubt myself. It's kind of like, what are you going to do when you grow up? I'm grown up. I still don't know what I want to do. I know that I want to write this book. And in writing this book, I've been writing this book. I want to say, more than 10 years, because I journal a lot. I like to write. That's my thing. I like to write. Something's bothering me. I might not talk about it. I might not verbalize it, but I'll write it down. That's my thing. So that turned into me wanting to write a book. Not only from my experiences, but well, basically, yeah, from experiences, good, bad, indifferent, and I just decided that, you know what, I think that I'm gonna write a book. But I've started the book, I've stopped the book, I've started the book, I've stopped the book, and I've started it again. I went a little further this time by allowing certain people to help me in putting the book together, or reading some parts of it and giving me their feedback. I've never done that before because the book is very, very personal. So my struggle today is trying to figure that out. So my son asked me what am I interested, what am I interested in? To figure out what you're interested in. But sometimes you're interested in stuff and it's not real. It's not, it's like a dream, but, well, to me, it's like a dream, but it's like, no, I can't do that because it's not realistic. Even if you're a couple and you've had children and you raised your children together and the children are now grown, and I know that they struggle into figuring out what they're going to do together as a couple, because they've always raised children together, and now that the kids are gone, it's just them, and you have to get to know each other as a couple all over again and figure out. You have a question for me?
Yeah.
You have to get to know each other as a couple and figure out who you guys really are as just husband and wife, not husband, wife, kids, or not as mom and dad, just as people. Do you even like each other after the kids are gone? Do y'all still, is the love still there? What's different? Or how are we going to keep the marriage or the love in the marriage without having the kids as the center of our world? My kids, center of my world. So what am I going to do now that my kids are out there doing their own thing, and I might not be a priority for them the way, they were. They're not necessarily, not that they're not a priority for me, because they're always going to be a priority for me. But, they don't need me as much. So, what's up? What are you going to do now? And I have questions.
What are 5 things you wish you would have done, you wish you could have done years ago? For example, travel, and repeat the question. What are some things you wish you would have done younger?
What if some things I wish I would have done when I was younger?
Mm-hmm.
The main thing I wish I would have done was I wish I would have gone to college.
Mm-hmm.
Because I find myself thinking about that a lot now, like going back and taking some college courses and stuff like that. I don't know if mentally I'm prepared for it, but I find myself thinking about that a lot. What's something else I would have done? Definitely travel, because I love to travel. I'm not crazy about flying, but I like traveling and experiencing different things and meeting different people, seeing how people live, not just laying on the beach and stuff like that. I like to go into the neighborhoods and see how, really see how other people live, whether it's better or worse. You said 5?
There's a few more.
Okay. That's hard. What else? Go to school, travel. See, that's my issue. Because when I think of it, my mind always goes to what I would have done with my kids.
But
You understand what I'm saying?
yourself out of
It's
that.
so hard. That's what I'm saying. It's hard for me to take myself out of it because
Because at the end of the day,
That's all I've known.
You had dreams and aspirations for yourself before you had kids.
well, before I had my kids, my thing, I wanted to be a nurse.
Okay.
That was what I wanted to do. I went to school. The school that I went to was specialized in the medical field. That's what I wanted to do. So I probably would have pursued that. I think I would have been a writer because I've always loved writing and whatever. I mean, English was my best subject in school, so like writing, even making stuff up and writing it, that was always my thing. So I think that I would have been led in that direction.
Okay. Next question. How do you maintain a relationship with your spouse and not neglect the kids, but keep the relationship interesting? You can repeat the question too. How do you maintain a relationship with your spouse and not neglect the kids, but keep the relationship interesting?
Okay. Well, I feel like you have to make time. You have to make time for your kids, of course. Do things with your kids, but also for you and your spouse. There has to be a time for, whether it's a date night, whether it's just y'all just doing something,
Family.
just you and them. Not necessarily, definitely not including the kids. But just finding some way to spend time together. That way, it's not always about the children. And then when they do leave, you're lost. Got it? That's good?
Good. What advice would you give a parent who is following in the footsteps of living behind their kids? Is that interesting one for you?
This is very interesting one. What advice would I give a parent that's following in the footsteps of living behind their kids? Don't do it, honey. Because that's my struggle. Living behind, well, what do you mean by living behind your kids?
Or living for your
Living for your kids?
Yeah.
I think living for your kids you're gonna do regardless,
Yeah.
but as more as just like overly overshadowing.
Like, in other words, it's all about the kids.
It's
Yeah.
all about the
And,
kids.
and you get kind of lost.
You get lost in yourself because then it becomes a situation like this where you kind of don't know what you want for yourself.
Like when we asked about the traveling, you were kind of like, or what would you have done? 5 things you would have done
by yourself.
by yourself.
Not even by yourself, but just
stuck.
for you. For you. Like everybody has something that they want to do for them. So what advice would you give those parents who are like you, who have made their life all about their kids and being as strongly supportive?
I feel like what I should have done, and what I feel like, parents that are like me, then you definitely have to find something for yourself, something that you want to do for yourself, other than, some type of balance. The kids are always going to be there. That's always going to be your focus. But at the same time, you have to find something for yourself, a way to separate yourself from the kids, because then what happens is you end up losing yourself. And I feel like with me, that's what's happened. Like I kind of lost myself because I don't know who I am without my children. Ooh, sorry. So yeah, so you definitely have to. You definitely have to find a balance. You have to find something that you want to do, something other than doing things, for them.
Do you feel like with time, you've gotten, like you've changed, like, your confidence, or, you know what I'm saying, like from everything that you've been through in the past, growing up, taking care of kids and doing, how do you feel at this moment, without, we're not saying your age, but how do you feel now, like as far as you're confident in the person that you are? Even if you don't know exactly what that is, but how do you feel now? Because you might have felt different 2 years ago.
Well, I definitely feel that I've changed over the past couple of years.
And what made you feel that way?
Well, if you want to talk about today starting this live, I wouldn't have done this live last year. I wouldn't have done anything like this. Coming out here and talking to people, some people I know, some people that I don't know, I would have never done this. I think I've kind of been trying to focus on myself a little bit more, not as much as I would like, but I think I've started to think about myself and really what I want to do with myself a little bit more than I would have a couple years ago. It's always been the kids or whatever was going on, but I'd be consumed with that, whatever issues it is. That's where my thought process.
How do you treat yourself?
I get my nails and my hair done.
Yes, you do.
Every 2 weeks. Hello, hey Maurice. I mean, I made a conscious effort because I've always gotten my hair done or whatever, but it's never been okay, every 2 weeks I'm going get my hair nails. It's whenever.
This falls into this next question. Do you feel selfish for something? Do you feel selfish if you did something for yourself that didn't involve your kids?
You know what? Yes. Mm-hmm. Maybe not as much now, but I did. It could be easily if I was at the mall shopping or whatever, and I saw something that Omar would like or Ariana would like, and I would have to buy it. I'm I have to get this for, hey Papa, I would have to get it. I'm not, hi Carol, I would have to get it. I would have to be oh, this would look cute on Ariana, or this would, or Omar would like XYZ, or Orlando, I would have to get it. And if I didn't get it, then I would feel some type of way. And then it would end up me going, instead of shopping or taking care of myself, it'll be, oh, let me get this. Or I'll end up getting a whole bunch of stuff for them or her or whatever. And then I'd be SOL, but I do it to myself. And I still kind of feel that way sometimes, even they'll be it's okay not to do it. It's okay to say no. It's okay if you can't do it. And if they need something and I can't do it, I feel like I'm failing them. Or, damn, they needed me or they needed something from me and I wasn't there or I wasn't able to do it. So it's a struggle, but I'm working on it.
Amber Carter says hi.
Hi, Amber. I was talking about you today.
One more question.
Okay, so I was gonna leave this for next week, but I'm gonna kind of do a real quick recap of some stuff that from previous lives that I've done, and people have sent me questions in my inbox. And these questions, there's only a couple of them that kind of some of them rubbed me the wrong way, and then some of them didn't. But the main question that came to me was from my very first live entry where I spoke about my gay sons. And people were inboxing me saying, do I feel I was right for talking about them or telling their story? Do I think it was right for me to do it as their mother? Number one, yes, I'm their mother. Number two is, prior to having that conversation, prior to having that live entry, I definitely had a conversation with my kids first to ask them if it was okay, if they were fine with it. I wouldn't just come on here and talk about them or tell my story about them without knowing if it was okay with them first. So actually they gave me Tasha said something, gave me the okay. So,
she said balance is very important because you can lose yourself when your main focus is just your parenthood or being a wife or husband. You have to make time for yourself as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tasha. I'm learning that. I lost that along the way, but I am learning that. Okay, so someone else wanted to know, someone said to me that in my inbox that the way they posed their statement to me I felt it was a bad thing that they were gay, and
Say exactly what it is. Don't sugarcoat. Just say it. Say it.
Okay, basically, I said it was a bad thing, and that all I can do now is pray to God and ask God for guidance with them.
This is what they said to
Right.
you, basically.
This is what they said to me. Here's the thing. I never in that live at any point said I thought it was a bad thing that my sons were gay. I never said that anything about God or what God would do to them. Never. What I said was, when I found out my sons were gay, my thing was to be there for them. I said to them what they needed to hear from me, and that was their mother was being accepting of them no matter what. That's what I said in my live. And I also said that maybe I wasn't truthful to myself because I had my own feelings in regard to my concerns about them getting hurt, about the way people were going to treat them, about how family members would treat them, about how people would act towards them once they found out that they were gay. Those were my concerns, but I never addressed that to them at that time because that's not what they needed to hear. What they needed to hear was, I got your back. And I do. And I still do till this day. People might not agree with it. People might have their own opinions about it. But I am over it. Like, these are my kids. The way I handle it is the way I handled it. Maybe not the way you would have handled it or anyone else would have handled it. But I was there for them, and that's what it is. So don't send me any more negative inboxes about that because I take that very personal. Okay? Thank you.
Did you also get some positive feedback on the conversation though?
I did. I got positive feedback. Okay, somebody sent me an inbox, and I hate this because I don't remember what she said verbatim, but it was basically, how do you feel being the mother figure for a lot of gay kids in DC, right? So, it took me a long time. It took me a little bit. I had to think about that question because I never set out to do that. That's not what I set out to do. I met kids, they attached to me, and in the process of us getting to know each other, that's how it turned out to be. I am what you want to call it? I don't even know what you call it. But I am a lot like my mother, whereas, we just generally take people in. And people take to us in that type of way. So if I felt like at some point somebody needs me and somebody needed to talk to me, I was there for them. This being a mother figure to them, that wasn't like, oh, I'm trying to be your mom. I was just trying to be there because probably they didn't have that at home or in their own life at all. So that was, that was one of them. But that one sticks out to me because that one made me think about, what she said. Right, Amber?
She said, I love you, mama.
Love you too. Abuse. Just don't want to talk about this.
Okay. You could just
So the abuse one was another one that I got a lot of feedback from. It was okay. It was that was a really hard topic for me because it was really personal. It was a lot of pain. It was just a lot. I'm telling y'all that topic afterwards took me out. Somebody did ask me though, and I think I said it 1,000 times. Why did I stay in an abusive relationship for as long as I stayed in an abusive relationship? And again, at that time, it was the children, my sons being in the mother and father household. I was scared. Fear had a lot to do with it. Fear of being alone. Fear of if I left, would this man come and get me and hurt me or hurt my kids or whatever. And then my self-esteem was just low. It was really, really low. I would never, ever speak up or say anything at all. So, yeah, it was just fear. And that was it.
Real question. Is there anything your kids can do to help you find yourself?
I don't think that it's their job to help me find myself. I think that's me. It's on me. I mean, they tell me a lot, you know, oh, you should go out more, or you should go do this or do that. But if they can suggest things, but if it's not what I want to do, then I'm not going to do it. So I don't think it's really up to them to help me. It's right now, it's all about me trying to figure out what I want to do and who I am without leaning on them, because I find myself that I lean on them a lot, and they tell me, you know, sometimes it's Orlando, sometimes it's Omar, and a lot of times it's Ariana, and you know, it's that I'm like really clingy to them, and then when they're not here, I'm like, damn, I'm by myself, and I don't know what to do with that with myself. So I end up watching Lifetime all day long. Or, you know, that's just how it is. Okay. So, thank you guys. I think we're done. No more questions? I think we're done. Thank you guys. Today was a short live because I just wanted to talk about that and recap some of the questions that came to me. And make sure you guys like and share my videos. I mean, you guys have been doing it. I appreciate you watching. I'll be back next week, maybe with the guest, maybe not. Maybe my executive producer will decide to make a visit. I know right now he's docked at his pay. But King O, the assistant executive producer.
2 weeks in a row.
You guys don't want to see his face right now. But
2 weeks in a
the
row.
executive producer has been here holding it down for the producer that, the assistant has been here holding it down for the executive who keeps taking these little mini vacations. So his pay is getting docked. But thank you guys for watching. I'll be back next week. Deuces. Oh, I can't do deuces anymore. Okay, have a great week.